Howdy Earthlings, it's me Sarah Proto from Sarah's Things, and I'm here with yet another Roblox game that is too good to be on Roblox and might even be hurting itself by being stuck on Roblox. Clean Crew is a game I played a while back and I intended to make a video on it sooner, but every time I go to start a video on it, Dolly's Factory gets an update, or I become the spokesperson for an entire genre or a game. It happens to me a lot more often than you think. So I decided to spend all day making this video just before the next Dolly update because it might actually be now or never. Clean Crew is one of those special Roblox games where it's made by a clearly skilled team, one that is way too talented to still be using Roblox as their publishing platform of choice. In Clean Crew, the objective is simple. We play little dudes who clean rooms. The general gameplay style can be summed up as a lethal-like, which lately has been getting conflated with the Dandy's World-like games or Delvers games, as the genre is often referred to on Roblox. Sorry, my fellow Robloxians, but literally no one calls these games Delvers or Dandy's likes outside of Roblox, so we're both just wrong for this name scheme. There are a lot of names for this genre, and I don't think anyone has really settled on a specific name for these. I feel like lethal-like is probably the most accurate, but I hate like in the title of genre, even though I'm doing that with Dandy's likes, but you know, sometimes you gotta name something after the most popular game in the genre. But in a lethal-like, you go in to collect loot and you push your luck to get as much as possible, then move on to the next floor or planet. You could call them junkers because that's basically what they're doing, junking items for cash. But these also fall under the massive umbrella of friend slop, which I use lovingly, not derogatorily, a genre of game where the games serve more as a vehicle for fun rather than being the fun itself, something like Peak or Repo. Whatever the name is, Clean Crew is mistakenly lumped in with Dandy's World and its genre. I swear, you put an elevator in a game and everyone thinks it's suddenly a Dandy's World clone. Just keep in mind that this is more like Lethal Company for Roblox than anything. The goal is Shrimple in Clean Crew though, and it's a little more involved than similar games in its genre. Before I overwhelm you with the options available before getting into a run, let's just break down the basic gameplay. You start by grabbing the TV called Buddy, plug it in, and then you start a round. Grab Buddy and find a spot to plug them in. Pick a good spot too, as you'll be returning to them often. Once the round starts, you arrive on one of the floors of this massive hotel-like structure. Your job is to go in and clean as much of the floor as possible, or just clean the required amount. You clean by hitting things with your broom or blasting them with your water gun. Objects that need cleaning are usually dressers, nightstands, beds, and other furniture, but you'll also find graffiti and grime in hard-to-reach places that you'll need to hit with your blaster. As you do, you'll collect progress, money, junk, and sometimes larger artifacts that you need to take back to Buddy. Once you empty your pockets and drop off an artifact, Buddy will reward you with more ammo. This is one of the many mechanics that keep you from pushing your luck too much. Your ammo isn't restored via fighting bad guys, which we will see soon, but rather through collecting and cleaning. You have to balance cleaning and fighting as enemies are mostly dispatched with your gun, but some grime is too hard to reach without a gun. This creates a sort of back and forth gameplay loop until you run out of easy to reach loot to restore your ammo, or you die from running out of ammo. You're actually kind of discouraged from getting into combat because the enemies are very difficult, and combat is where it gets interesting as the enemy design is very intelligent. In a game like Repo, we have enemies that react to different senses, and on their own, they're not so bad. Like the hunter is easy to deal with, you just stay still and don't talk into your mic. But get multiple enemies that cover multiple senses like hearing and seeing, and it gets a lot harder to deal with them. In Clean Crew, we don't get enemies that react to sound, but we also get to defend ourselves from the beginning with water guns. You'll encounter flying eyeballs which serve as little sponges for your liquid justice, or you'll get some enemies that you might be better off avoiding, like mimics who pose as furniture. Once they start fighting you, the spot where they take the most damage is their eye under their body, so you have to bait them into making themselves vulnerable before you can blast away. A lot of enemies work like this, where they're actually putting a lot of pressure on you, so you have to try and make them vulnerable in some way to be able to hit them. You also get an enemy that's like a hedgehog thing, and these weird dodo birds that have like sirens on their face. They're fire alarms, and they're really loud and disorienting. But I want you to actually play the game, so I'm not going to break down every enemy. A lot of the fun in this game comes from running into these things for the first time. Like Lethal Company, this is a game best experienced with friends over a voice call. It's not too hard of a game, but it's definitely harder than the simulated gambling you're all probably used to on Roblox. Sorry, but this is an actual game. I'm picking on you. I play these games too. One of the things that make it easier is the fact that you can get your life back very easily and friends will respawn when you finish floors. It's a fun co-op game because of that. If your friend expires, they don't stay out of the game forever if you can clutch it. But if you're taking some hits, you can just pick up your plug and plug it into an outlet to restore health. Try not to be too greedy though, as the light sockets don't have unlimited power. Eventually you'll clean enough that Buddy is satisfied and you can move on to the next floor. Between floors you can can buy upgrades with the junk you've cashed in via perks and buying items to assist you on the next floors. That's the gist of the game though. Like other games in the junker genre, you're just collecting loot, extracting it, and seeing how far you can go. Once your run is done, you can use the moolah, that's the currency, to unlock new classes that the game recently introduced, like Zoomer and Blaster. Zoomer is a speedster style class where they're fast, have a larger melee duster, and a rapid fire water gun. Blaster is slower but stronger with a shotgun blaster and a vacuum. The one we start with is called Ranger and works more like an all-rounder with like an assault rifle like water gun. You can also see from the store screen that there's already a ton of customization in the game and it has not been around that long. Pretty great for a game that you never heard of, right? You can also use your moolah to buy upgrades at the vending machine before a run and between floors. Well, let's be real, you're saving up for a character and some sick kit to start with. I almost forgot to mention that there is lore, actual lore, and it's in the game. If you've ever played Pikmin, then you might remember how every item you returned to the ship had a little description to go with it. It was usually lore written by Olimar or the ship, and it described what these everyday items were based on guesses. Basically, aliens trying to describe everyday items we have. This game kinda does that too. Every antique you find has a description from the cleaner who found it, along with funny names.
Its wide peepers are full of abandonment. I know that feeling all too well. Lost in a world that is so different from the one you remember. Sorry no one ever gave you a chance, little guy.
That's some tasty lore right there. Give me a bowl or two of that. Now, as you've seen, this game absolutely nails lethal-like gameplay in its aesthetic. It's spooky, fun, and I love that we aren't practically defenseless like a lot of the games in this genre. The environments are so haunting and moody, the world is cluttered, begging to be cleaned, and some enemies are unlike anything I've seen before. The characters are also cute little custodians with lighting fixtures for heads. It's simultaneously silly and creepy. Sure, they aren't adorable and won't attract the shippers, but maybe that's a good thing now that I've said that out loud. The biggest problem this game has is what a lot of my favorite Roblox games have a problem with. They're too good? Like seriously, why would you ever release this on Roblox? We've seen a bunch of games similar to this concept get released on Steam and come out of the gate with massive fan bases like Repo and Lethal Company. Clean Crew devs, your team name is called Clean Crew, so I guess I should just call you Clean Crew. You're one of the few teams that absolutely should not be publishing to Roblox anymore. Roblox is limiting not just your potential through its platform limitations and cuts to your income, but through your potential player base. You're a team that knows what you're doing, except for publishing to Roblox. This should be a $5 Steam game, and it's a lot more fun and interesting than many of the games that would be competing with it. You're unfortunately currently heavily restricting your player base by staying on Roblox, as there are a lot of people who will never play this simply because it's on Roblox. Either because they'll never hear about it, or because they know it's here and hate Roblox. There's also a ton of people boycotting Roblox purchases, so moving off platform would be more lucrative for you long term. The modding scene would also just go crazy hard with this game. If it's a matter of servers and stuff, Lethal Company, Peak, Repo, and a bunch of others have figured this out, all with small budgets. You don't need Roblox. They're seriously holding you back. If you're still watching, bozo move, because you should be playing Clean Crew right this instant. There are very few games better than this one on Roblox. You are actually missing out on this one. Get 3 friends, get in a call, and play it right now. It's an absolute riot. Also, please play the game. It isn't that popular, and most of the people I get stuck with suck or grief. Like, there's people who will go around smacking each other when in a stage. Doing it in lobbies is fine, but some will also go AFK from the start or just don't even try to help in the fights. As for the devs, seriously consider moving off platform. With how good your game is, you're shooting yourself in the foot by not releasing on Steam. Also, if you're listening, Clean Crew, please adjust the drop area for artifacts. It is impossible to tell where I'm supposed to drop artifacts for them to get sucked into the machine. There's no reason it should be that narrow of a space. Like, the entire ring should be okay for putting the item in. Like, look how much I struggle with this surfboard. I don't usually give scores, but this is genuinely like an 8 for a non-Roblox game and a 10 for a Roblox game. You really can't do much better than this. The gameplay is fun and funny, challenging too. The aesthetic and sound match perfectly. And how many times do I have to say it's awesome before you turn off the video and go play? Look, okay, fine. You're not gonna stop. I'll make you stop. I guess I'll just have to end the video myself. Thanks for watching, and thanks to my supporters on Patreon and members on YouTube like Alter Ego, Nightmare Wuna, Freya Games, Gezro, Am, Nebazy, Esperin Artist Paper, Faye Penguin, Momentary Unicorn, Nat, Marius Yini, Worm Syrup, Rask, Beef, Colorado Blue, Vaderson, Linky, Addy14, The Ace of Raccoons, Blackjack, Rask again, Willie Pete, TG Dante, Linky again, Astro Pixie YT, and Malding Brick. I'll see y'all later. I have to go clean in a video game because it's way more fun to do than in real life. Bye!